49,000 rupees. That's the price of a Samsung flagship in 2015, an Apple flagship in 2012-13. At that point of time, around 2014-15, we probably didn't think we would ever see a OnePlus phone at that price. But here we are with the OnePlus 7 Pro. Now hold on, I've used the phone for over a month now, so we've got a lot to talk about. I'm not jumping to conclusions yet. Before we begin, let me introduce myself. My name is Ashwin Sundar. This is Technology Jock. Guys, I used most of the mainstream smartphones for at least a month before posting reviews so that you get an idea of how the phones will fare in long term. It takes a lot of time and effort to thoroughly test everything, so if you appreciate it, please subscribe to Technology Jock and hit that bell icon. This video is sponsored by Squarespace. Squarespace is an online service that helps you create amazing websites all by yourself without any prior knowledge. Stick with me till the end of the video for more information. Let's now get started with the review. OnePlus decided to go for a major design overhaul. I like how OnePlus have progressed so quickly in the display department. 5T had slim bezels, the 6 had regular sized notch, the 6T had a smaller dewdrop notch, and finally now the 7 Pro offers true edge-to-edge viewing experience, which is quite the experience. It's super immersive and you can really feel how good the change is while watching videos and playing games. There are a few more reasons for that. First, the display is huge, almost 6.7 inches. Next, it's a Quad HD Plus panel, so it's a lot sharper. The display has curved edges too, so it looks more premium, feels like a much more expensive phone. Although in terms of functionality, curved edges are not the best thing. They are prone to ghost touches or accidental touches, as in while using the phone your palm might come in contact with the display, which is annoying. But then OnePlus have provided a good silicone case in the box, and putting that on prevents accidental touches to a great extent. And then the most noticeable difference from other OnePlus phones is the refresh rate. It's a 90Hz display, so it's super smooth. Now, it's not possible to show you how smooth it is because the display you're watching this video on needs to be a 90Hz display, otherwise you can't notice the difference. Now, this is 15 FPS, this is 30 FPS, and this is 60 FPS. So imagine what 90Hz would be like. That's the kind of smoothness we are talking about. So, does that mean you can play your favorite games or watch your favorite Netflix shows at 90 FPS? Sadly, no. Well, videos are a different thing. Movies and TV shows are generally shot at 24 FPS. The videos that you shoot using your smartphones are either 30 or 60 FPS videos. So videos will never look smoother on a 90Hz display, but games could. Right now, games are capped at 60 FPS, so they don't look any different from what they look like on other phones. But game developers can offer support for 90 FPS gameplay. The potential is there. The 855 chip can handle 90 FPS games, at least in medium graphics. So there is a good chance we see it in the near future. The display also has support for HDR10+, and the color reproduction is great. So overall, I really appreciate OnePlus for providing some drastic improvements. No bezels, Quad HD, curved edges, HDR support, great color accuracy, and high refresh rate. This is easily the best viewing experience you will get on any smartphone today. Now, some compromise had to be made in exchange, and it is how thick and heavy the phone is. It is probably the heaviest phone I've ever used. I personally feel OnePlus could have avoided going for such a huge display. I'm actually a little biased towards compact phones. I used to have an iPhone 5s and Mi 6, both of which are super compact. And most people generally like huge phones. But I still feel 6.67 inches is a bit too much. Let's do one thing. Here's a poll. Let me know what the ideal display size is according to you. The build itself is great. It's glass all over the body. Gorilla Glass 5 to be precise. The 6T had Gorilla Glass 6, so that's a bit of a downgrade. But OnePlus have more than compensated for it by offering water resistance. Yes, it doesn't have an official IP rating, but it is water resistant up to an extent. In fact, I did a full waterproof test. Here you go, click that link. Now, thanks to the pop-up selfie camera, face unlock is slightly slower because it takes a bit of time to pop up. But trust me, it never really bothered me. It is still fast enough. And the under-display fingerprint scanner is even faster. And when it unlocks, you get a really good vibration feedback thanks to the new haptic feedback motor. It's not that strong vibration it creates when someone is calling or messaging you. This is like a short, crisp vibration. I don't know if I can show it to you, but let me try. Regular vibration. The shorter one. Not the best way to show you how it is, but better than nothing, right? You can even enable this option in settings so that you get the same vibration pattern in supported games. And I don't know how many people noticed it, but the quality of the alert slider is also much better now. On the 60, it was kind of hard to switch profiles. The feedback was not that great, but on the 7 Pro, you hear a loud click sound while switching profiles. Hear it? So it's the little things like these that enhance the user experience, and OnePlus have done a fine job at that. Speaking of little things that matter, the 7 Pro has a stereo speaker setup which is both loud and clear. It has support for Dolby Atmos, but Dolby Atmos on phones is totally overrated. There are just a few settings you can change and that's pretty much it. But still, the speakers themselves are really good. You can easily notice while playing games and streaming content how detailed and crisp the audio is. It's the earpiece that functions as the second speaker, so obviously the call quality is also great. And by call quality, I mean reception as well. It was perfect. I had both my SIM cards on this phone for a while and I didn't notice any abnormal behavior. There is nothing wrong with the microphone either, works perfectly fine. Next up, performance. I'm not going to waste any time because all I have to say is the OnePlus 7 Pro is the best performing phone, the fastest phone. Not really a surprise, OnePlus phones have always been this way for the past few years. It's an absolute pleasure using this phone for regular tasks as well as playing games. I played Call of Duty for over 10 hours cumulatively and I hardly noticed any lag. The background app management is also great. Even on the 6GB RAM variant, most of the time I could just open an app and I could continue my session. As in, the apps did not reload from scratch. There is also an 8GB RAM variant and a whopping 12GB RAM variant. 12GB is not even required no matter the kind of usage. The Snapdragon 855 chip is manufactured on the 7nm FinFET technology, so it's the most efficient chip available for a smartphone today, which means it can help the 7 Pro last longer on a single charge. The 7 Pro's 4000 mAh battery is the highest capacity a OnePlus phone has ever seen. But remember, the huge 90Hz display with Quad HD Plus resolution has a huge impact on the battery life. Now, I set the refresh rate to 90Hz and the resolution to auto switch, so on medium to heavy usage, I was able to get through one whole day without having to recharge. If you have a long day ahead of you, like if you'll be clicking a lot of pictures, playing PUBG with your friends on those kind of days, I recommend setting the refresh rate to 60Hz and the resolution to 1080p. Doing this got me more screen on time than the 6T. Now, another feature that makes the 7 Pro feel more like a true tier 1 flagship and not just a typical OnePlus or Xiaomi flagship is warp charge. On this one day, I plugged it in when the charge was down to 10%. From there, it took exactly 1 hour 15 minutes to reach 100%. And guys, an important thing, the cables that come with other OnePlus phones like the 6, 6T, 7, they also support warp charge. So in case you're looking for a spare cable for the 7 Pro, if OnePlus 660 cable is cheaper, you can get that. Now here's yet another reason why the 7 Pro feels like a true tier 1 flagship. Remember the 5T, 6 and 6T had only one proper camera? The other one was just for depth sensing and low light photography. While flagships from Apple, Samsung, LG offered zoom or ultra wide angle camera for years now. Well, the 7 Pro now has triple camera setup. A 48 megapixel main camera, an 8 megapixel camera for 3x optical zoom, well, not really, I'll come to that in a bit, and then a 16 megapixel ultra wide angle camera. Now here's one of the reasons why I always try to use the phone for 1 month before reviewing. The images shot on the 7 Pro were pretty average at launch. Even after the first update, there was no big difference. It wasn't even as good as the OnePlus 6T's camera. Look at this comparison. But then OnePlus finally rolled out the 9.5.7 update, which made things better. All three cameras capture fantastic images. Of course, the ultra-wide camera and the telephoto camera struggle in low-light scenarios. It's always better to use the main camera under low light. OnePlus introduced Nightscape 2.0 and it's amazing. There are some significant improvements. Here's a comparison between Nightscape 2.0 and Google Camera's Night Sight mode. And yeah, OnePlus 7 Pro supports Google Camera right out of the box. I made another video on how to install Google Camera and compare stock camera and Google Camera images. Check it out if you're interested. Now, I know it's not a common feature, but it would be great if OnePlus provided Nightscape mode for the ultra-wide-angle camera and the telephoto camera, because those are the ones struggling a lot under low light. Now, the telephoto camera is not really an 8-megapixel 3x optical zoom camera, it's actually a 12-megapixel 2.2x optical zoom camera. After capturing, it crops out 4 megapixels worth of data, so OnePlus calls it 3x optical zoom. It's not cheating, but maybe slightly misleading. I feel OnePlus should have at least disclosed it during launch. Anyway, the images coming out of it are excellent. Like, even when you don't really need to zoom in, you can still use it to get a different perspective. Now, portrait mode also uses this telephoto camera, and it's my favorite thing. Portraits always look so much better if you use a zoom camera. That's why professional photographers recommend 50mm lens for clicking portraits using DSLRs. 50mm is like 2x zoom. Because the subject really stands out, it looks really good. The edge detection is also way more accurate than on most other phones. On the video front, everything is fine. It supports 4K 60fps and super slow motion videos at 720p resolution, 480fps. The quality is good, the stabilization is also good, but still it can't rival the Galaxy S10. The S10 is still far ahead in terms of video capabilities. Oh, and one more thing, you can't shoot videos using the ultra-wide or the telephoto camera. So overall, the camera performance is great. There is still some room for improvement, but OnePlus can do it via updates. Let's now move on to something that OnePlus has always nailed to perfection: Oxygen OS. Well, trust me, this time is no different. It's got all the amazing features that the 6T has, plus some new features like RAM Boost, which optimizes RAM performance depending on your usage, and then quick reply in landscape mode, which is particularly useful when you're gaming, someone messages you, you can just reply from the notification panel. And then OnePlus's own audio tuner is now replaced by Dolby Atmos tuner. And guys, if you don't remember earphone mode, it's time you have a look at it again. Say you have a pair of Bluetooth earphones, some of these options are really useful. And then there is a screen recorder that records internal audio as well. I captured my whole Call of Duty gameplay and it was perfect.
Keep on them, we're winning this one.
And then there is a new Zen mode, enabling it will restrict you from using the phone for 20 minutes straight. In this age of smartphone addiction, this is a super handy feature for most of us. As in, most of us should use it from time to time. These minor features are not just useful, but also doesn't make the user interface heavy. That's why Oxygen OS is still probably the fastest user interface. It's just perfect for everybody. So yes, OnePlus is moving towards tier 1 brands like Apple, Samsung and Google, not just in terms of price, but in terms of features and user experience as well. Yes, the 7 Pro is inferior to tier 1 flagships in some ways, but it's also superior to tier 1 flagships in some other ways, like excellent performance, super smooth gaming, the 90Hz Quad HD Plus display, warp charging, Oxygen OS, the camera's versatility, 3 major Android updates. You can't get some of these things in some tier 1 flagships. The Pixel 3 XL is available for 56,000 rupees, which is super cheap for a Pixel phone, but somehow I still found myself recommending the OnePlus 7 Pro to a few of my friends last week. You know what else I would recommend? Squarespace, our sponsor. Let's have a look at what it offers. Like I said, Squarespace is a powerful online tool for building websites. You don't need to design or code anything. There are hundreds of beautiful templates to choose from. Just type the keyword and choose a template. From there, you just need to edit the existing content based on your requirements and done. You can instantly view the mobile version and the tablet version of the website as well. Just in case you get stuck somewhere, Squarespace will help you out. They have an award-winning customer service team available all day, every day, 24/7 literally. So go ahead, try out Squarespace. Link can be found in the description. And when you decide to launch your website to the public, you can use the special promo code TechnologyJock to get 10% discount. So that's it. Guys, by now you probably realize how much hard work went into the making of this video. I've been doing it all by myself, so kindly subscribe to Technology Jock and please hit the bell icon. If there's anything you want to convey to me, it could be about the video quality, it could be a doubt or query regarding the phone, feel free to tell me in the comment section. Your feedback is what's keeping this channel alive. So, thanks for watching. For the moment, this is Ashwin Sundar saying goodbye.